Our book is Little Critters, the Fussy Princess, written by Mercer Mayer. One night, little sister couldn't get to sleep. I can't sleep without my fuzzy pink bear, little sister complained. You don't need your fuzzy pink bear to sleep, little critter said sharply. I do too, insisted sister. I need my bear or I can't sleep at all. Little critter sighed, went to little sister's bear, handed it back to her, and got back into bed. You're too fussy, little critter said. Did you say I was fuzzy? No, fussy, said the little critter. What does fussy mean? Asked little sister. I'll tell you a story about a fussy princess. And then you'll know, answered little critter. Okay, said little sister. Little critter began to tell the story. Once upon a time, a long, long time ago, there was a fussy princess who couldn't sleep unless everything was just right. She had all of her favorite dolls had to be propped up in the bed in just the right order. She had to have her favorite blanket, and the sheets had to be pretty smooth. Little sister interrupted, little critter. You're telling a story about me. I don't like stories that are about me. Are you a princess who lived a long, long time ago? Asked little critter. Well, no, admitted little sister. Then this story is not about you, little critter explained. So, do you want to hear it or not? All right, go on, said little sister. Here we go then, said little critter. This princess had to have everything so right that night. If the window was open too much, she had to have it shut. If the air was too still, someone had to fan her. And everyone in the castle had to be quiet and tiptoeing around as she went to bed, because the very least little noise would disturb her. So there was no picnic during the day either. All of her dresses had to be perfectly pressed. If they had even the slightest wrinkle, she hollered and threw a fit. She had the royal maids ironing clothes all day long. Oh, and if she fell down, she screamed, and there was nothing the royal sitter could do, the royal clown or the princess's own parents could do to stop her from crying. One day, a big dragon who lived in the mountains flew down to the castle. He had heard about the fussy princess and how the servants took care of her. It sounded like a good deal to him, and he liked the castle when he saw it, so he decided that he was going to move in. The first thing he did was throw out the king and his family, so the royal family had to spend the night in a barn. The princess had to sleep with the cows, donkeys, sheep, and chickens. Needless to say, she didn't sleep a wink. In the morning, she was in a very bad mood. When the farmer found them next morning, he threw them out, trespassing. That night, they had to sleep under a tree, and of course it rained, and the royal family got all wet. The princess didn't sleep well that night either. By the third night, the princess was cranky and a mess. Her fur was matted with mud. Her new gown was wrinkled. This is way too much. Not only had her family been thrown out of the castle and forced to live under a tree, not only was her dress ruined, but the dragon had her favorite blanket and all of her dolls. So she hollered and threw a fit. She yelled, screamed until her father promised to go and get the things from the dragon. Her father went back to the castle, pounded open the door, and told the dragon to open up, and that's just what the dragon did. He opened the door, then he blew his fiery breath at the king and chased him away. The king went back to her family under the tree, feeling defeated and slightly scorched. So the princess made up her mind to be brave. She decided to sneak into the castle that night when everyone was asleep and get her favorite dolls and a blanket. It was very late when she reached the castle, so she squeaked upstairs to her room. The princess was very surprised to find the dragon asleep in her bed with her favorite blanket and all of her dolls propped up around him. Boy, did she get mad. And even though there was a dragon in her bed, she was so angry she wasn't even scared. The princess was so mad she went to the laundry room, got a big bucket of soapy water. She went upstairs, threw it right in the sleeping dragon's face. The poor dragon woke up with a snort and a sputter. The dragon slowly got out of bed. He drew himself up as tall as possible. He glared at the princess with his big yellow eyes and showed her his fangs. Now the princess was more scared than angry. She started to back towards the door. The dragon puffed himself up and began to blow fire at her, but all that came out were soapy bubbles. The dragon was shocked. The princess had put out his fire. No one had ever put out this fire before, and without his fire, he couldn't be ferocious, let alone scary. So he sat down on the floor and cried, and cried, and cried. Meanwhile, the king and queen had discovered that the princess was missing. They thought that she had gone back to the castle, so they went there as fast as they could. Imagine how surprised the king and queen were to find her daughter comforting a crying dragon. Right then and there, the princess decided not to be fussy anymore. After living under a tree, she realized it didn't matter if her favorite blanket wasn't in just the right spot or if someone made a little noise when she was trying to sleep. The dragon was so moved by the princess's change of heart, he apologized for being so awful. And the king and queen were so happy they invited the dragon to stay as their house guest. "Is that the story?" asked Sister. "That's it," said Little Critter. "Now go to sleep." "Well, now I need my fuzzy blanket, but your story made me sleepy, so I think I'll go to sleep anyway." Little Sister yawned and snuggled under her covers. "Good, and good night," said Little Critter, who also yawned and fell right asleep.